friends, welcome to Humane at Home. It is Monday. I am Stacy and I'm really excited to be here with you today. I'm very excited. As you can see, we're in a little different area. We're outside. Oh, don't give it away, Dario. Oh, she's she's giving away our surprises. So we are here at our Escondido campus and I'm really excited to be here and show it off because our Escondido campus can care for some different animals than our regular campuses. So you might think of cats and dogs and rabbits and more typical pets when you think of the Humane Society, but we are actually what's called open admission. So we take all kinds of animals. If an animal needs help, we will help them. And so we are in our kind of farm animal area here at Escondido, and you're going to get to see that in just a minute. But because I want to show you off, I want to promote our art contest one more time. So May 8th, which is Friday, is our final day to submit pieces for our art contest. And you can see we have gotten gorgeous, gorgeous submissions, all different kinds. People are so talented. I am so impressed. Remember, you can paint or draw or create with a collage. I can't see what I'm showing you, Dario. There we go. Your pet, or you can choose one of our adoptable animals. Look at this, all the cool mediums they used. Or you can even choose a wild animal here in San Diego. Do you know what, Dario? I don't know if you recognize this is, I think, Angel Soft from our toilet paper litter. So how cute is that? That is a great idea. So all of these are due by Friday. I have no idea how the voting is going to go because I don't know how you could pick a winner from these. These are amazing. So please, please, please get these in by Friday. All ages are doing that. So like I said, we have taken a field trip. We're at our Escondido campus. We take care of farm animals here. So we have pigs, goats, sheep, roosters, chickens. I even saw a peacock here once. So all different kinds of farm animals. We don't have all of those animals all the time, but we have the ability and are ready to take care of them whenever they do come. So today, I know many of you are celebrating Star Wars Day, May the 4th. So we're going to do that San Diego Humane Society style today. And we are, may the horse be with you, my friends. I love a bad pun. And here's our favorite horse here. So this is one of our adoptable horses. And you can see he's standing here with Chris, who is our animal caregiver here, one of our animal caregivers in Escondido. And he helps take care of our farm animals. And so as you can imagine, they have to have special knowledge, special training to be able to care for them. It's very different than a dog or a cat. And my friends, I'm going to be honest, I don't know a lot about horses either, so I'm really excited to learn along with you today. So be sure to ask lots of questions, and we'll see if we can stump Chris, the horse guy, all right? All right, welcome, Chris. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you very much, Stacy. Howdy, guys. Hope you guys are doing well. Like Stacy mentioned, up here on Escondido campus, we take care of the livestock. We're the livestock arm of the San Diego Humane Society. We have the space, we have the area, and we're able to take care of those kind of harder to place animals, you know, the horses, goats. We've had cows and steers. We've had llamas, I believe, a couple times, and a variety of fowl. Like you said, peacock, guinea fowl, roosters. We've had a large variety of animals that can come up here. Yes. So we're definitely benefited by just our terrain, how much space we have in order to do that, and the staff that we have up here are really knowledgeable when it comes to that kind of specialty.
Excellent. I hear this guy looks like he wants to get on camera. Tell us a little bit about him.
Yeah, so Swingin' Traveler, he's pretty excited right now. He has a lot of people that are coming out, checking him out. He spent the last couple week and a half at Foster with our very own Sergeant Monreal, who's done a great job putting some more weight, getting his coat kind of put out a little bit more. But yeah, he's kind of interested. There's not nearly as many horses as he's used to out here, so he's trying to be sociable. He wants to hang out. Horses are herd creatures by habit, so they like to be able to go and have interactions with other horses, but other people, other livestock. They just like having a lot of social interaction. So
how did Swingin' Traveler end up coming to us, Chris?
Well, Swingin' Traveler, he ended up coming to us as, unfortunately, many horses do, inability to just afford him. Horses are a lot more time and monetarily consuming than some people realize. There's a lot of work, a lot of effort, and definitely a lot of resources that go into owning a horse. So the two most common ways that we get horses are from people surrendering because they get honest with themselves and they realize that maybe a horse isn't the best fit for them just because of the amount of time and money it takes. Or unfortunately, sometimes we do get seizures from HLE. for the same reason, really. It's just that perhaps they haven't been able to come to terms that they aren't able to provide what's best for the horse.
Okay, so yeah, so when he just said that by seizures, that means so maybe our humane law enforcement team has to go and take a horse from somebody because maybe they're not providing the proper care. So that's what I want to learn about today is like, what is the proper care for a horse and what does it kind of entail? Because when I got here, Dariel, I saw this info sheet right here, and I'm used to seeing cats and dogs and their weight, and on that info sheet it says that Swing and Traveler weighs 1,000 pounds. Tell us about that.
Yeah, and 1,000 pounds, that's pretty average. He can still use some more weight on him, to be honest. He still needs to fill out a bit more, but the range for most adult horses, again, not ponies, not pygmy horses, but your standard adult horses, ranging from 15 to 19, 20 hands, that's getting into the big draft guys. You get 800 to over 2,000 pounds. I mean, they definitely are large creatures, and they require their own special care. Horses, when you're talking about feeding them, they're going to be getting about 10 to 20, 25 pounds of hay a day, which only roughly equates to about 1 to 3% of their body weight. Hi, how's it going?
Coming to say hi. He heard you say hey, I think.
I know, he heard it. Outside of that, dependent on what your horse's care or needs are, there is a wide swath of supplements that also go into owning a horse. They get stuff that helps them prevent what's known as colic, a very common condition with horses. They need electrolytes when they're sweating and it gets warm. They're going to need a mineral block or a salt block, as you can see over there, which he has lovingly dumped out of his bowl recently, so that they have enough sodium and electrolyte and mineral intake. Sometimes they need to get stuff such as red cell to help get more vitamins into their system. I mean, if you can think about professional athletes, for us people, they do it for horses. I mean, these guys, they are well-muscled, and they are incredible creatures. But with that, there comes with a lot of upkeep, especially in a domestic sense.
Yes. So I see a little bit of his ribs. You said he could get a little weight on him.
Yeah.
So when he came in, he was a little malnourished.
Yeah, he again, they couldn't afford to care for him.
Okay.
So whether they were getting maybe, not as much hay or maybe not the right type of hay, we're not sure, but we're happy that they were willing to bring him in so that we can do what we can do and help get him back up to shape and get him to a family that they can have a really stable home for him.
Absolutely. And so we talk about this a lot, guys. Sometimes the most responsible thing you can do is to bring them into the Humane Society if you are unable to care for them, because we don't want any animal suffering or hungry, so we want to help before it gets to a situation where they're maybe in a bad state.
That's right.
So, and like I said, every single episode, you need to do your research before you get a pet. And I imagine people aren't just going out and getting horses willy-nilly, because you have to have the proper place for them. But you really have to think about that care they provide, that they need, all the food that you just mentioned. And another thing that's interesting about Swing and Traveler is, he's noisy.
All right.
He is 22 years old. So they can live a long life, it appears.
Yes, they can. Horses, typically when you're talking about a healthy range with a horse where they're still very active, they have a great quality of life, you can reliably expect about mid-20s to early 30s. That being said, there are definitely outliers out there. The world record for oldest horse went to a horse named Old Billy. He lived to 62 years old. Oh my God. And I mean, that's twice the limit that they anticipate most horses getting to.
So that would be unusual, but you never know.
Yeah, but that's still
But still, you never know.
But with a healthy horse, I mean, you can expect 2 decades if you're getting it from the start. I mean, that's a large time commitment. Right. And like we're talking about when it comes to caring and ownership of horses, you're not bringing them inside when it's raining outside.
Yes.
You got to think about that when it comes to weather fluctuations. There's extra care that goes in. If it's cold at nights, you need to have someone out there putting a blanket on the horse to make sure that he has the proper temperature, or have him pay extra for a facility that has a heated barn. If it's raining outside, you need to make sure that has a space to come in. If it's really hot, you need to be able to bathe him down and then scrape him off so he can cool properly. It's going to be a large part of your life.
Yes, and and all of that, just like with any animal, learning those different things that they need, and the ways to make them comfortable and happy. I know that, tell us what it is on his head, please.
Oh, on his head, yeah. Well, not only is it stylish, it's also very functional. What it is, it's a fly mask. Horses, outside of the normal care and a place to keep them known as boarding, they also require a lot of tack. Tack is the supplies, the stuff like brushes or hoof picks or fly masks or the blankets I mentioned or new horseshoes, or they have a lot of accessories to go with them, if you know what I mean. What the fly mask is going to do, it's just a mesh. It's close enough to his eyes that he still has pretty good visibility outward, but it's just making it so flies aren't biting on his face and everything. You see that he has a nice long tail, and his mane's, you know, growing back in, but the mane and tail are really designed so that he can flick flies away from sensitive parts of his body, because he can't rightly get his hooves or his neck or his head all over his body. So that mane and tail are kind of his first line of defense against those flies.
Okay,
Perfect.
excellent. And I also heard you say that you talked about the hands. So explain what that means when you're measuring, like how, I think it's for how tall a horse is or how big a horse is that right?
Yeah, so what a hand is a unit of measurement used to measure a height of a horse. What you're really measuring, here, I'll probably get you a visual real quick. But
Okay,
it's 4.5 inches, and that used to be a very archaic unit or an old unit of measurement known as a hand. I believe England, they measure in stones for weight, and that's like 12 pounds. It's just something from a time long gone now, but due to tradition and it's just so steeped in the culture, it stays with horses. We haven't really found a better way to measure them.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
I'll go ahead and I'll talk to you. I mentioned something known as the wither. If you're not super savvy with horses, I'll kind of just show you some basic horse anatomy, as it were. If I can go ahead and hand this off to you real quick, keeping those 6 feet distances. I'm going to go in with Trav real quick. He's very interested to come out, so I'm actually going to ask him to back up. So I'm just going to, you know, if you don't, back up. Back up. And they're pretty good, they're pretty savvy, they understand basic commands, and especially once you start getting into a routine, there's a lot that you can do with them.
So if I were, I'm not going to approach him because you are with him, but for someone, like I know dog body language, but I wouldn't know how to read if swinging traveler's feeling comfortable, or like how to approach, because you talked earlier about like the blind spot they have because their eyes are on the side. So what's a good way to go up to a horse and make them feel comfortable and that kind of stuff?
Well, a couple things that we need to know about horses. First off, I'm going to ask him to back up a little bit so I'm not placed in this corner. Again, before I answer that question, horses, they're amazing, they're great animals. They are rather large though, and even without meaning or intentionally trying to cause you harm, you could potentially get hurt if something outside of either of our control were to happen. If a firework went off in the distance, if a bag rolled in and he wasn't expecting it, he's going to react like I would expect him to and just be a horse. I can't hold any fault against him for that. But you need to set the horse up for success and not put yourself in a bad spot, which is why I just got out from in between him and the fence, because I had no place to go. Okay? Going back to answer your question, what's a great way to approach a horse? A lot of people, they see horses and they really want to pet them, and it's great. Horses like being pet. A lot of the stuff is on the side though. Please don't try to come in, especially really fast or really hot, towards his face. This is all a blind spot up here. His eye is here and here on the sides because he's a prey-based animal. So he's looking at his surroundings. Another thing about a prey-based animal, they're not a big fan of the fast movement regardless. So, you know, you can kind of let him sniff on you if he's interested. Most horses don't like having their mouth manipulated too much. But this large side section, this is all fair game. Horses like this. You get people braiding their manes and grooming them out and loving up on them and saying, oh, you're my favorite, stuff like that, you know? But just being kind of wary and just being respectful of their face and their personal space. I mean, I doubt you would like someone getting their hand up in your face. You'd rather start with a handshake or a hug or something like that.
Well, and that's just, I like to reinforce that that's with all of our animals,
Yep.
with our dogs, our cats, with our rabbits, all of them. It's being respectful of their space, not going in there. I like the no fast movements. That's true for all of our animal friends. So we always want to make sure we're being safe and listening to them. Because even Chris, when we were talking about getting ready for this, he's saying, well, you know, swinging traveler, I'm a little new to him, so he might not, he might be a little wary of me or a little nervous. And I said, that's okay. That's a good teaching moment to show, like, if he is uncomfortable, how we back up or give him his space, just like any other animal. We're not going to force him to do anything that he doesn't want to do or that he's not comfortable with. So with Swingin' Traveler, because of his age, and he also maybe wasn't cared for properly, he has some medical issues as well, correct?
Correct. We're suspecting that he has some arthritis in his rear legs because of when he walks. We notice a lot of stiffness. He doesn't have a normal gait or normal stride that most horses do. So that's definitely a culprit, especially in older horses. You know, they get a lot of wear and tear on their joints, especially if they were used for something in the past. If he was maybe a riding horse, or you never know what the horses are like. Sometimes we don't get all the knowledge. So we try to do the best we can with what we have. And a lot of the times when they're here, we're just really trying to get weight on them, trying to get them back up to a healthy space, and just really not putting up too much stress on them at all.
So a good home for a traveler would be, he'd probably enjoy being with some other horses.
Yes, definitely.
Definitely some other horses. That's good. Some friends. And just a place where he gets to kind of enjoy his retirement years, right? Just hang out and...
In the horse community, we call it a pasture puff.
There you go.
Yeah. So it's basically, he's just an expensive lawn ornament. You know, you go out and you love up on him some days and you talk to him, and some horses really like music. You can see videos of that on YouTube, people playing flute or guitar, and the horse kind of bobs his head and they like that kind of stuff. But he's mostly a companion for other horses that you might already have that maybe are a bit younger and could use some guidance and experience from an older horse. Older horses are also really good if you wanted to introduce someone younger, maybe a greener horse person, to the world of horses. If you have a calm older horse, he'll know how to take a joke and he'll know what's threatening and what's not. So they're really forgiving as a rule about maybe someone who doesn't have a whole lot of horse knowledge, and they know what they meant and they kind of go along with it anyways.
I love that. Well, I always say my heart is with the senior pets, so I love the older ones. They have so much to offer, and I love that we can just love on them and give them maybe a life that they didn't have before. So it looks like we have a question, Dariel.
Kate would like to know, how do you go about introducing two horses?
Oh, that's a good question. So Kate asked, how do you go about introducing two new horses to each other?
Sure. That one's pretty good. We would normally like to do a gradual approach. We don't do too much commingling here at the Humane Society, but I know when it comes to private horse ownership, when you're wanting to get a pasture puff or a horse and companion to yours, what we would normally recommend is having them in stalls adjacent to each other. You know, you don't just get them right in with each other. You get them to kind of warm up, know each other, especially for the guy coming in. It's such a new environment, and there's so much to take in. Even though horses are herd animals, part of that is they have a pretty good social hierarchy. They have a pecking order. So you're just going to have to be attentive. If you're not, I'm not saying the person who asked this question, but if you're not the most horse savvy person, if you got a friend who is, maybe a trainer, maybe someone who has a lot of horse experience, to help back you up for that first introduction so that they can see if this is normal horse behavior as far as correcting and setting up a social hierarchy, or if it's starting to get to a point where maybe we need to separate them and maybe have them just take a second to readjust.
Perfect. So just like with any animal, I imagine like you take it slow, you make sure you're not just leaving them unsupervised. But yeah, that's a very good question. So as far as basic upkeep, I know I saw you brushing Swingin' Traveler earlier. And what about hooves?
Yeah, brushing and hooves, that's all good. If I could actually get some assistance real quick from you, Jesse, I'll make sure that we keep our 6 feet. Normally, you're able to do this if you have some sort of hitching stall, or dependent on the temperament of your horse, you know, you might be able to pick them without any of this. But we want to make sure that we're still maintaining proper safety guidelines, because again, like I mentioned earlier, the horse, he has enough weight and he's inherently bigger than us. I mean, not saying that anything would intentionally happen from him, but you never know, and we like to set the horse up for success. So go ahead, have him standing there. And I'm going to swing around you real quick. So I'm just going to demonstrate one thing that you'll commonly do with horses is you're going to pick their hooves, and that's to help prevent something called thrush, which is a fungus. So you're just going to come on down and just pick that hoof up. You get a hoof pick, and you're just basically getting debris out of here. You're not doing anything terribly invasive to the horse. His foot naturally makes a V in this position. This is called the frog. So you're just making sure that there's not, you know, small rocks stuck in there, debris. If you were maybe out in a parking lot or something, sometimes they can really catch some nasty stuff. They can catch some screws or nails or stuff like that. Okay. And that's a big medical problem. You need to let your vet know immediately if you have a horse with a puncture or an abscess like that. But it's just something that you can do to help get a better idea of where your horse is at health-wise.
Excellent. Would you do that every day? Is
Yes.
that like part of a daily routine?
Yeah, as much as you can. Sometimes if you have a horse with a pre-known condition, like he has a thrush or a fungal infection, you're going to be doing it multiple times a day.
Okay.
You're going to be using iodine power to help kill that out. But if he doesn't have his hooves, there's really not much the horse can do. I mean, he has to think about it. He has 1,000 pounds that he has to have on his feet at all times. And his whole life is moving, it's running, it's walking, he's sleeping, standing up. If you can't have him comfortably on his feet, you're gonna have a hard time with your horse, and you're gonna have other health problems arise because of that.
And yeah, it'd probably be very uncomfortable for the poor horse.
That's right.
So, okay, you said they sleep standing up. Do they ever lay down?
They do lay down. They can sleep standing up. That doesn't mean that they always sleep standing up. Sometimes, you know, you'll have a horse and he just wants to sunbathe and he'll be laid out, neck out, and you'll get people running up and they're telling you that they think your horse just passed away because they've never seen it before. Trust me, they lay down. They like to take it easy sometimes. But yeah, they have the ability to sleep standing up because of how their sockets and how their joints attach. It's kind of like a locking mechanism. So it can just lock like a pillar and support itself. And that goes back, sorry buddy, that goes back to that history of being a prey animal. They have certain horses that are awake, keeping watch, and then they have certain horses that are asleep standing up. So if anything were to happen, maybe a mountain lion came out or a bear or a pack of wolves, they could all just boogie on out of there.
Oh, wow. Okay, my friends, so if there aren't any more questions about Swingin' Traveler, so he is available for adoption. So he's looking for a nice home where he can retire in a pasture, get some great care, and probably some horse buddies. So that would be a wonderful thing that we can do for him. He's already really thrived in his foster home and would love a forever home too. So Chris, I'm going to have you come on out and we're going to go see, we have a surprise visitor on our episode today. We got another farm animal in this weekend. So thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Swingin' Traveler. We appreciate it. So we're going to follow Chris and we're going to meet another farm animal who also weighs a lot, I think.
She's getting there.
You might see Dariel. You can show off my fashion. We'll follow you, Chris. You can see my fashionable
snake guards
that I'm wearing today. So here in Escondido, another thing we have to look out for is rattlesnakes. So I am going to follow Chris very carefully. Yeah. He's on the snake team.
In mention to the Escondido campus having a pretty high amount of rattlesnakes. I think we had about 3 last week. That's a real big reason why we like to keep our walking paths. I mean, I'm sure you can notice that this is knocked down way more than that is out there. So if it's a place that's frequent often, we're still going to wear the snake guards, but we also want to make sure that we can see what we're looking at.
Yes, so you can see we have a lot of space here, and I'll get this door Mysterio. And so we have a lot of space for all different kinds of animals. Lots of times there's chickens over there. You might have heard the rooster during our show. He's very talkative. But Chris is going to take us in here, and I'm really excited about this one. Because if you watched a couple weeks ago, you met Moose and Pumbaa, are my 2 favorite piggies. And here we have Peaches. I think Dariel can go in there and still stay far away from you.
Oh, yeah.
Because we want to get a close-up on Peaches here. Because she may or may not come out of this house. And she's pretty darn cute in there, Dariel. I don't know if you can see her. Or Chris, maybe if you step away, Dariel can get a close-up.
She'll come out in just a second. She's really sociable. Who
are
the 2 pigs you mentioned? Moose and
Pumbaa. So Moose is actually one of our pig ambassadors who comes to programs. So we went to their house and met, oh my gosh, there she is.
I think Peaches could probably hack it as an animal ambassador. She is something special.
Oh my gosh, look at that belly going against the ground. I love it.
Oh yeah, and Peaches, I mean, she's a big fan of getting pets. And let's see if we can recreate it real quick. She's also a pretty good fan of getting her belly rubbed.
So it looks like,
there she goes. There she goes.
Okay, that's a happy pig right there.
She's very inviting for that.
Oh my gosh.
Stacey, if you want, you're more than welcome. I'll step back if you want to give her some belly rubs and give her some love.
I will trade you for that job, Chris. Yes, I will. You got the horse fun. I'm going to take Peaches the pig.
Yeah, you go for it. She is all sorts of friendly.
To rub your belly. Hi. Oh my goodness, she is a sweetheart. That belly. So she's a bit bigger than Moose and Pumbaa, if you remember them. And I just saw that she was brought in by her. Oh, she thinks Chris is better at belly rubs, I think. So, oh, look at that tushy. Okay, so she said, I like him better. So I just saw on her paperwork that she was brought in by her owner because they were not allowed to keep her. So again, what we talk about is you have to check out your zoning, your area, make sure that you are allowed to have this kind of pet before you make the commitment to them. And remember, they can live a really long time too. I think about 20 years, right?
Yeah, you know, I'm not as strong with my pig knowledge. Yes. I was definitely brought on to help out with the horses. I'm learning more every day.
Moose and Pumbaa's mom said up to 20. So I think,
there we go.
Yes. You just came here to get pig belly rubs, right?
Right. I do know that you're completely accurate, though, is being aware of what your zoning laws are. And not only that, but unfortunately, being up to date with them.
Absolutely.
Just because it was that way maybe a decade ago, you got to keep up on those tabs and see what's affecting your area locally and seeing if that's going to affect the
It
life
could
of your
change. You
pets.
might have been able to have one a while ago. So you can, oh my gosh, Daryl, that's a cute close-up. So you can see Peaches has her whole area. Oh my gosh, there she wants to get her. She says, I am a beauty. Look at this snout. Oh my gosh. I can only imagine how cute that is. I can't wait to see that back. Her belly is literally dragging on the ground, which I also love and feel like she's a representative of our quarantine piggy here that we're all feeling. But you can see, remember we talked about how clean pigs are. They will have a totally separate area for their potty. It looks like her potty area is over here to the right of Chris. Actually, you don't have to show us, Daryl, but she's gone potty there. How exciting. So, but she keeps a potty area separate from her feed area, separate from her sleeping area. So she has this adorable, I love this. Oh my gosh, we're going to get some veggies to feed her, which will be fun, and she'll be very happy. But yeah, so you might not know that we have these farm animals up here in Escondido. I think both of these animals we're showing you are looking for loving homes where they will be pets and treasured as pets. Oh good, I love that Daryl's getting some sneaking himself. This is a cute one. Okay, we just got some squash, I think.
Yes, that's correct.
So Miss Peaches is going to have a nice little treat. While we're talking, I'm going to tell you about Wildlife Wednesday. We will be learning about the difference between crows and ravens, and we will have our Raven Ambassador Moki with us there. So come back for Wednesday for that. We've lost Chris in our food. So, but he's coming back. And then don't forget about our Humane at Home art contest. She's following you, Daryl. Oh my gosh, I love that belly so much. Our Humane at Home art contest through Friday. We are taking submissions and entries, so please, please get those in. Oh, there. Oh my goodness. Look at this. She's a little vegetarian and says, okay, I'll think about this. So there's a special treat for her. So besides her hay, I love it. Oh, first bite out of the apple. I love it. That is a happy piggy. So she looks like she would be a great fit for someone who loves pigs. She is so friendly. She came right out. Her tail's wagging, very social. And as you can see, the home, I think a requirement for her home is belly rubs. Yes? Okay.
Yes, definitely for her.
Belly rubs and lots of food. Sounds perfect to me. There we go. Any other questions, Miss Daryl? No? Well, thank you so much for joining us today and having us here at the Escondido campus. Remember, we get all kinds of animals. If you're looking for a pet, look at your shelters or rescues first because there are so many deserving animals already waiting. We'll hope you'll come back on, oh my gosh, you have to get a close-up of that little face chewing. We hope you'll come back on Wednesday and meet our Raven Moki and learn all about them. So thanks again for coming, and may the horse be with you. Bye, everyone.